Energy and fatigue. A lot of my clients come to me and they wish they had more energy. They wish they weren't so fatigued. And so the pressure-free method is incredible at helping you gain energy, gain really a deep level of health. And it takes mastery of the method to really dive into that. But even right away, some of my clients experience some pretty amazing things, more miraculous than I ever could have dreamed. So there are three things that I think about when I think of people who are having trouble with energy and fatigue. The first is sleep, getting a quality night's sleep. And there's so much on sleep out there. A lot of it I disagree with really wholeheartedly. And it's because the real culprit to not getting a good night's sleep rests again with the release of stress hormones. So we'll go into sleep. And then the second is digestion. So if you're not digesting your food properly, you're not getting the energy you need out to your cells, out to your bodies to do the processes it needs to, and out to your skin too. And your skin is a real, it can really tell you a lot about your health. And then the third are energy drainers. So we'll talk about some energy drainers. So first, let's dive into sleep. So I'm always going to be sharing with you about the stress response because that is my expertise, the fight or flight stress response, the release of stress hormones. There are two floods of hormones when you release the fight or flight stress response. And you could release these hormones for a myriad of reasons. Small annoyances, a pen clicker in the office meeting, dirty socks on the floor, you've missed an appointment, you're running late, somebody's tone of voice can cause you to trigger the stress response. There's just so many reasons why, and you have habits of reactions that you've built your entire life, and they're even generations old. So when you trigger the stress response, even for the slightest annoyance, two floods of hormones goes out. The first flood is they're called catecholamines. It's like a cocktail. The second flood are glucocorticoids, and those are the ones I want to dig into when it comes to sleep. When you release the fight or flight stress hormones, glucocorticoids, they have a great purpose to fix the brain cells and the extremities that we've damaged when we release the adrenaline. Okay, because we wick fat and glucose from our head and from our extremities and bring energy to the center of our body to fight or run away. But we compromise these cells. Glucocorticoids go out to fix them. However, cortisol does two things to your brain. It can make you feel anxious for no reason. You know, that kind of general anxiety, like worrying. Why am I worrying so much? I shouldn't be worried. Everything's fine, but you're still worrying. And also, it's your wake-up drug. So you might get to sleep, but at 2 or 3 a.m. you're wide awake. Or maybe you do have trouble getting to sleep because the release happened earlier, the first release, and then the second release is happening right when you're trying to go to bed. So one of the ways I like to put this is your biology is informing your psychology, and then vice versa. So sleep, I could talk for hours about sleep, but I just want to give you the clue that if we can prevent the release of the first flood of hormones, the second flood does not go out. When the second flood of hormones doesn't go out, your body gets to really go into a deep delta wave sleep. You get to renew, rejuvenate, and refresh so that when you wake up the next morning, you have more energy. I was coaching a 16-year-old hockey player once, and he had his full first day of staying pressure-free. The next day, he wrote this huge Facebook message to me. That's how we communicated back then, through Facebook message. And he wrote to me and he goes, "Dear Mrs. Ingalls, yesterday I had my first full pressure-free day. This morning, I woke up with the most focused energy I've ever felt in my life." Focused energy from a 16-year-old boy is a very good thing. So energy, my eldest son and I kept getting up earlier and earlier when we started using the pressure-free method. And that was because our body was finally getting a real night's sleep. He was getting a real night's sleep. I was getting a real night's sleep. And he was a teenage 18-year-old getting up at 5 a.m. And it's because he was finally getting a real night's sleep. So the stress hormones are the culprit to you not actually getting that beautiful sleep. That's one of the reasons why you might feel an energy drain or fatigue. Let's talk about digestion. Again, we could do hours on digestion, but we're going to do some key things here for you. So when it comes to digestion, it starts in your saliva ducts. When you go into fight or flight, you actually shut off your saliva ducts. So you're not digesting your food in the first space where it gets digested. A lot of enzymatic activity happens right here. So if you ever have a dry mouth or mouth sores, one of the chief reasons is that every time you trigger fight or flight, you're shutting off those saliva ducts. So when you can reverse that and you're starting to digest your food here first, that's really going to help with the whole rest of your digestive system. Also, when you go into fight or flight, the rest of the digestive system is going to slow down or stop because digesting food takes a ton of energy. And we need all our energy to fight or run away if we're truly in fight or flight. So a lot of our body processes, our reproductive processes, a lot of things shut down in fight or flight, but most definitely the digestive system because it takes so much energy. Ever notice that you eat a big meal and then you're tired after? Because your digestive system's taking a lot of energy to do its work. So start the digestion here. And one of the things you can do, and I learned this from a really cool doctor from Thailand. She said to me, notice, especially in certain cultures, you'll see that people will go like this, waft the smell of their food toward their nose so that you breathe. So I also learned from a cancer nutritionist that people don't breathe enough when they eat, at least in North America. So we need to breathe a little more. I like to take a breath before every bite. When I'm being mindful and thinking about it, I'll take a breath before every bite. So take a breath, smell the food, and that gets your saliva ducts going. That will be helpful. Even if you do trigger fight or flight, you can start getting those saliva ducts going. So, and then you hear it like chew your food 33 times or 100 times. That's a lot of times, and I don't count the times. But what I have gotten into more of the habit of is eating a little slower. I used to eat way too fast. Eating a little slower and keeping the food in my mouth longer so that it really does start to digest. If we can prevent the release of those hormones, your entire digestive system is going to start to work better. The first place that I saw the results of better digestion for me, just going to get vulnerable here for a moment, was my skin. So I had terrible stress acne and eczema all over my hands for years and years and years. And your skin is a reflection. Also hair loss. I've never had hair loss, but that's a good thing. But I know some of my clients have experienced some hair loss. It's because our nutrients aren't really getting out to our extremities. And so your skin is kind of a reflection of that. And it was just such a miracle to me. Within 8 weeks of using the method on myself, my skin completely healed. And I have skin that I still can't believe it's mine. Like I touch it, I'm like, I can't believe this is my skin. That's because the nutrients are finally getting out, because the digestive system's working, because I haven't shut it down by triggering those stress hormones. So I hope that makes sense. So digestion is another really important thing for your energy to be up and for you to be healthy. Also, I encourage my clients to not stress out if they eat something that's not good for them. Your body's going to take care of it, okay? Your body is so incredibly designed to take care of a bunch of crap, okay? However, if you trigger the stress response because you're beating yourself up because you ate something that you really didn't want to, or it wasn't a part of your diet or whatever you're doing these days, that stressing out is far more dangerous to your digestive system and your whole being than what you ate. So be gentle, cut yourself a break, and know that you can make better choices another day. I used to beat myself up a lot, and I've stopped doing that. It's a great thing. The third thing I wanted to talk about tonight was energy drainers. So energy drainers can be worries, they can be mental. They can be worries, they can be interruptions, and then, of course, stressors in general. So with worries, I have a little tool I call the double yellow line to help you stay present in the moment so you don't spin and create a whole fiction about something that you don't even know how it's going to go down. That's what we'll do. Let's say you have a doctor's appointment coming up and you're getting some test results. You could spin so negatively about that for hours, for days. So just like when you're driving down the road, it's like a double yellow line. Lay down a double yellow line and give yourself a break and say, no, I get to be here right now. The doctor's appointment's in 2 days. I'll find out the results then. So you constantly are getting your mind into a different track with this double yellow line idea So you can place double yellow lines around all the events in your day so you stay very present in the moment, doing what you're thinking. I have no idea what time it is. I did this thing from 9 to 9:30, 9:40, and then it didn't work, so I'm coming back on here again, right? None of that matters. It's like I'm just here right now with you. That's what matters. I want to share this with you. So interruptions, like the phone ringing, the doorbell ringing. Our dogs used to go crazy when anybody came to the door, until we all as a family started becoming pressure free, especially me. And then it got to the point where our dogs would be lying in front of the fireplace and like barely pick up their head when the doorbell rang. So pets can reflect our own anxieties. So that's kind of an interesting thing to watch. If you have a dog especially, will pick up on all of your anxieties and they'll act out in certain ways. And you can kind of see that. Children will do it as well. They pick up on our anxieties. So interruptions, if you're interrupted by a child or the doorbell or the phone or whatever, notice if you get all frenzied, if you get tight, and see if you can relax that. You've got 10 seconds, remember, 10 seconds to use any one of my pressure-free tools to interrupt the stress response. If you hear the doorbell ring and you relax your abs, you probably won't go into that kind of frenzied, oh, somebody's at the door. That was me going into fight or flight before. I stopped doing that. My dogs stopped doing that. My kids stopped doing it. My husband stops doing it, right? Because stress is rather contagious, by the way. So watch for little interruptions. Those are things that can definitely drain your energy throughout the day because you continually trigger the stress response and your body gets exhausted. Last are general stressors. I work very deeply with my clients to identify what are the stressors that are going on with them. What are the things that are causing them to trigger fight or flight? They can be very minor and some of them are much bigger. So when you can start to notice what some of these stressors are, acknowledgement sets you free, by the way. You might be really, and a way to look at it is like, how much thought time are you giving to certain things? And again, that's the worries, also the interruptions, but just other things in general. Are you spending a lot of time worried about politics? Have you donated to a campaign lately? Maybe not, So what is it that you're spending time thinking about, and how is that corrupting you? Like, how is it zapping your energy? What do you really want to be thinking of? And I'm going to give a tool here that I gave earlier that I think is really helpful. I have a pressure-free planner that my private clients get, and in that planner, I show them how to do this little tool on goal setting. After we go through some goal setting and to-dos, I have them put a word next to every single thing in their calendar. So it could be a doctor's appointment, it could be a appointment with someone, a meeting, dinner with someone, all the personal things and all the work things. And next to each thing, I want you to put a word that describes how you want to feel while you're doing it. So not the outcome. For example, let's say you were an athlete and you have a race coming up. And it's like 1:00 race. Amazing. What it means is that entire time that you're involved at the race, you want to feel amazing. No matter what is going down, no matter who passes you, no matter what the situation is, whether you're running great or not great, you're feeling amazing. So you're starting to put a stake in the ground about how you're showing up and how you want to feel, rather than letting everybody else decide how you feel. Does that make sense? It's something I started to incorporate back in 2012 in my coaching and started using for myself. And I'm telling you, it is really one of the secret tricks that I've been teaching for years that has made a huge difference in my clients' lives and in my own personal life. When I write down one of those words, I really believe it and I really move into it. So if I'm having a meeting with someone and I want it to be exquisite, I write that word down. I want it to be exquisite. I want to just feel that emotion the whole time I'm in that meeting with that person. Does that make sense? I mean, it might sound a little crazy. Like, I think I'm the only person, I've read hundreds of books on goal setting, and I've never had anybody talk about this before. I mean, it's just something that I came up with in 2012 and have been using for all these years, and it's really, really powerful. It's like you're deciding, you're in control of your emotion rather than the circumstances or the other people deciding how you feel. Don't you think you get to decide that? I really believe you deserve a beautiful life, a fulfilling life. Yes, it can be full of challenges, but that can be fulfilling. It can be really rocky sometimes, but you can put a stake in ground and say, like, I deserve to feel like this right now. And maybe it's not completely over the top joyous or something, but it's like, I'm going to feel this in this moment. And it can give you strength. I had a client once who lost 2 family members within a week's span. And normally in that situation, like at the funerals, she would have been the one just keening and crying and just inconsolable. And she was using her pressure-free tools that I had taught her. And she said it was miraculous. She ended up being the person that was helping and organizing and calmly. Yes, she was grieving, but she wasn't tying up the grief with anger. It was like pure grief, and she was able to be so much more helpful in all of the situations that were going on. And it was just, for her, it was just a really insightful and really beautiful to be in that space versus the other kind of space. It's not that we become Stepford people with a plastic smile on our face all the time. You're going to feel all your emotions. You're just going to choose not to trigger stress hormones when you feel the emotions. That is the difference. I know for me, once I felt sadness, the most profound sadness I think I've ever felt, because I didn't tie it up with anger. It was about my parents passing away, and that they weren't at an event that would have been so beautiful for them to be at, and they would have loved it. And I started to really kind of break down. And then I decided not to get angry at cancer and heart disease and God and all the things I could get angry at. Instead, I just let myself feel the sadness, and I didn't trigger the stress hormones. And it was so beautiful. So you get to decide. And I think that is extremely powerful. So take a look at these things: sleep, digestion, and energy drainers, and just decide that you're worth more. One of the biggest things I do with my clients is I have them turn this thing deep in their heart called the deserving key. That you really deserve to have a beautiful life. That you really deserve to move into your full potential in every way. So this series, we're just going to do these little deep dives. Again, I could spend hours on every single one of these 3 things I just shared with you here, because I have so many tools and so many ways to help you. If you need help, by the way, please go to speakwithelle.com. Please book a call with me. I'm happy to talk with you and learn about what's happening for you so we can make a difference in your life. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to do another deep dive. So hopefully at 9 p.m., I am going to be doing it correctly and it's all going to work. But I see Janine's on here and some other people are on here, and I'm really grateful that you were with me right now. And if you're watching the replay, I'm so grateful. Hopefully you're getting benefit from this. And if you don't know, I created the Pressure Free Method in 2010, and it's been helping and changing people's lives. And I'm on a big mission, so you can help me support that mission. You can come on my email list. You can support me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Share things out. You can, if you're on an iPhone, by the way, you can grab the link, and you can send it privately in a message to someone who maybe is dealing with some sleep issues, digestion issues, energy drainers. And tomorrow night we're going to go deeper. So have a great night, and thank you for the love. Thank you. Bye.